Good morning. My name is Jason Love. I'm the Chief of the Bergen County Prosecutor's Office. I welcome you here today for the dedication of our Child Advocacy Center to the name of Rosemarie D'Alessandro, who has been a lifelong advocate of children's rights, and to her daughter Joan, who is celebrating this day from heaven on her birthday. The Child Advocacy Center, it was established recently, but it was in 2016 when we got together and wanted to repurpose some of the space within our office. It was a matter of convenience then, but what we quickly realized is that although we were practicing the best practices in New Jersey, we wanted to be accredited and conform to the national standard. It was then that we reached out to our partners at the New Jersey Children's Alliance and the National Children's Alliance to take the steps to become accredited. This doesn't happen without the hard work of Lieutenant Linda McNulty, victim witness advocate Corrine Matarazzo, Agent Brittany Byrock, and Sergeant Doug Rager, to name a few. This place serves a purpose, and that is to have a safe place for our children to whisper their secrets, and our mission is to hear those whispers and to hold sacred the secrets that they carry in the pursuit of justice and the truth. Before I hand it over to the prosecutor, I'd like to personally thank Rosemarie for being here today and for the tireless work that you do for the cause. I also want to recognize Nydia from the New Jersey Center of New Jersey Children's Alliance. I was concerned that I would mess up her last name, but I messed up her title. So without any further ado, Prosecutor Marcella.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Chief. Good morning and welcome, and thank you all for coming, and thank you for being here. I would like to specifically thank Miss Rosemarie D'Alessandro, all of our partners and our guests, and particularly the members of the Bergen County Prosecutor's Office, and specifically the members of our victim, our SVU unit, as well as the advocates from the Bergen County Prosecutor's Office who are in attendance here today. It is a privilege to have you all here with us today to honor Rosemarie and the work that she has done for nearly 30 years in remembrance of her daughter Joan. Today we celebrate the legacy of hope that Rosemarie has created from our horrific event some 48 years ago. And today we dedicate the Bergen County Prosecutor's Office Child Advocacy Room as the Rosemarie Room. In April 1973, 7-year-old Joan D'Alessandro was abducted and murdered in Hillsdale. A 26-year-old high school chemistry teacher who lived 3 doors away later pled guilty to murder. When the killer became eligible for parole in 1993, Joan's mother, Rosemarie, organized a green ribbon campaign which led officials to deny the killer's parole. That was just the beginning of Rosemarie's nearly 3 decades of work on behalf of child victims and their families. Today, child victims and their families are connected to support and resources through the Bergen County Prosecutor's Office Child Advocacy Center. Representatives from medicine, mental health, law enforcement, victim advocacy, assistant prosecutors, and the Division of Child Protection and Permanency meet every week to discuss each of these cases in which children are seen as victims. This multidisciplinary team works together to address the victims and their families' needs and to ensure that the offenders are brought to justice. We are proud to announce that our Advocacy Center has received accreditation. This means that it meets 10 standards that ensure that every child victim receives consistent, evidence-based interventions to help guide them to a healthy, positive future. I want to thank Chief Love for his year-long vision in pursuing accreditation and for his leadership in bringing it to fruition. And at this time, I would like to introduce Nadia Monegas, the Director of Statewide Initiatives for the New Jersey Children's Alliance, to say a few words. Thank you, Nadia.
Good morning. Thank you, Prosecutor Musella, First Assistant Callow, Chief Love, Lieutenant McNulty, and representatives of the Bergen County Child Advocacy Center for inviting me here to celebrate with you today. My name is Nadia Monegas, and I'm the Director of Statewide Initiatives for the New Jersey Children's Alliance. Our mission is to help victims of child abuse by supporting child advocacy centers, fondly known as CACs, with training, resources, advocacy, and leadership. In 2017, we set a goal of having 21 county-based child advocacy centers by 2021, so that every child in New Jersey would have access to a CAC, regardless of where they lived. Child abuse is a nationwide tragedy to which the children of New Jersey and of Bergen County are not immune. In 2016, there were almost 9,000 known victims of child maltreatment and 21 child fatalities in New Jersey. Child abuse has many costs: health, emotional, and academic costs to child victims and their families, monetary costs to taxpayers, productivity and financial costs to communities, and societal costs from the effects of trauma on adult survivors. According to the Centers for Disease Control, the total lifetime financial cost related to just 1 year of confirmed cases of child maltreatment is $124 billion. Abuse prevention and an effective, compassionate response to child victims can drastically reduce all of these costs. Child advocacy centers offer that compassionate response that promotes hope, healing, and justice for child abuse victims and their families. CACs are child-friendly facilities in which multidisciplinary teams comprised of law enforcement, prosecution, child protective services, medical and mental health professionals, and victim advocates coordinate their efforts to investigate and prosecute child abuse cases while protecting children and providing needed treatment to survivors. CACs use evidence-based, child-centered practices through forensic interviews, medical evaluations, trauma-focused mental health care, and victim advocacy. Research indicates that child advocacy centers prevent abuse, help victims heal, and are cost-effective. The CAC model has shown that it is possible to reduce trauma to child victims of abuse while improving the legal outcome of cases and holding offenders accountable. Earlier this year, Bergen County Child Advocacy Center attained accreditation, which we are here to acknowledge today. Accreditation is an important distinction. It means, as Prosecutor Musella pointed out, that the Bergen County CAC has met the 10 standards developed by the National Children's Alliance. These standards ensure that all children across the United States served by child advocacy centers receive consistent, evidence-based, high-quality services that help them heal from abuse and promote justice. I want to commend Captain Love, Lieutenant McNulty, Karine Matarazzo, and their team for all their hard work to make this happen, and Prosecutor Musella for his support. In closing, every child deserves to have hope for a bright future, to heal from the trauma with effective support and specialized services, and to be confident that everything was done on their behalf to ensure justice. Thank you for being here today to celebrate Bergen County CAC's important achievement of earning accreditation by the National Children's Alliance, as well as to honor Joan D'Alessandro's memory. Thank you.
Next, to introduce Mr. D'Alessandro, we're going to have Captain Gary Almers, who has a personal connection to the family. Captain Almers.
Thank you. It's an honor to introduce Rosemarie D'Alessandro and say a few words about her cause. I've known her for many years, and she's a kind and wonderful woman, and I'm proud to call her my friend. Prosecutor Musella mentioned some of her background, but let me start with a quote from Theodore Roosevelt. In any moment of decision, the best thing you can do is the right thing. The worst thing you can do is nothing. And Rosemarie D'Alessandro did the right thing. After the parole hearing in 1993, Ms. D'Alessandro started lobbying for a bill that ultimately was passed in 1997 in New Jersey, denying the possibility of parole for offenders who murder children under the age of 14 while committing a sexual crime. The law was named Jones Law. A federal version of Jones Law was passed in 1998 by President Bill Clinton. Also in 1998, Ms. D'Alessandro formed Jones Joy Foundation, an organization that funds education programs for disadvantaged children and will support safety programs for children. After fighting numerous appeals filed by Jones Killer, in 2000, Ms. D'Alessandro successfully spearheaded a bill extending the amount of time a victim's family can sue civilly. In 2004, New York State adopted a version of Jones Law. In 2017, the law extended to apply for children under the age of 18. Ms. D'Alessandro continues to bring awareness to safety of children and rights of violent crimes through Jones Joy Foundation. It is appropriate that we hear today on September 7th, Jones' birthday, to remember the honor of a very courageous mother who turned tragedy into a lifetime movement of child safety and victim rights. Before I bring up Ms. D'Alessandro, I would like to thank Girl Scout Troop 60358, which donated $350 to help decorate the center. Rosemarie D'Alessandro, please come up and accept your plaque. A copy will be in the Child Advocacy Center, which will be known as Rosemary's Room.
Yeah.
You have a fan? She's too hot. Does she need some water, maybe? Gary, want some water?
I can move your mic. I don't know how that works.
Do we have it?
Should I just move the podium?
You guys take your mics?
Yeah, we'll, yep.
Okay, we'll do that.
Want me to move it over there?
Yeah, if we could.
I work with energy, you know, I had. I think we had maybe some ice, you know?
They're gonna
Yeah,
bring
that-
you a cup.
Yeah. Where is my thing?
They're gonna get her a cup of ice.
Can I-
Bring us a shade closer.
can I have-
What? Glasses?
no, the thing.
I thought you had it.
Too bad we didn't bring
I
our
only
thing.
have one little thing.
Do you have it?
No,
Yeah.
it's in my computer room.
Thank you very much. I got it. Yeah, put this on. Okay. Put it on.
What size it gets.
It's gonna be. I don't want to really have it on when I'm talking though. Let's get the ice, and then I just gonna. Here. Okay.
I'm moving.
I want to look at everybody. Okay. All right. Okay. They're just going to get some. Oh gosh, a white butterfly. A white butterfly.
Jones saying hello.
And I'm seeing it right there.
Birthday. Oh my God.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yes. Yeah. A white butterfly is, there was something that happened and it made us realize that it had to do with Jones' energy of hope and love. So it became a symbol of Jones' hope and love. Okay. So they're going to get a little ice. They're going to get some ice because I do work with myasthenia gravis, you know, my whole adult life. So, you know, this is this is what I do. It's nothing. So don't think, I'm going to, it's just to work with it. You work with it because he could get it worse. Okay, cool. Thank you, honey. Thank you. Okay. So I'm trying to see if we could work with. Okay. Well, first of all, I just want to say, my greetings to the prosecutor, to the chief, to all the distinguished attendees, and to my sons, Michael and John, and my friends. And I am honored and grateful for this honor that I never expected in a million years. I remember when Lieutenant McNulty and the Senior Assistant Prosecutor, Danielle Grutenbar, came to my house and told me about the good news, and it was like, I was dumbfounded. And I remember saying that after Linda was explaining about the green, and they were going to paint something green in the center, and they were going to put butterflies, and I remember thinking, the green, you see, green is Joan's favorite color, was Joan's favorite color, and that they were even thinking of that. And green got to mean like it's of the logo, remember Joan today, so tomorrow's children will be safe. Because in my head, yes, it starts with Joan, it starts with me, it starts with my family, but it really, wait, I think it's moving a little bit, yeah. It wants to go down. We want to try to get near my mouth. Okay. Thank you. So it says, remember Joan today, so tomorrow's children will be safe. And even then, in my head, see, the way I always would think, it was just, we all have our way of thinking. I always think of the general picture, but it starts with the specific and then it goes to all people, right? Especially with people. So that's how I thought and that's how I think. So therefore, it's not just about Joan, but she is my inspiration. So she continues that way in her spirit, with her spirit. And she just passed right now. That was her spirit. The butterfly, a sign. And people would say coincidence, but that was more than a coincidence, because I'm over here with the heat and we're trying to figure out how to work it. And she said, okay, it's gonna be fine, I'm here, it's gonna be fine, don't worry. So, and then going back to having the butterflies at the center, that's going to be amazing. Because when these children come into the center, Linda, and they come into the center, all of you, what's going to happen is the butterfly is going to give them a different energy. Even though they're going to be in this extreme suffering and pain and think nobody cares for them. But here at the center, they cared so much that they were going to work it to make it that the child would not just have someone listening to them in a kind way and a very non-threatening way, because that person would not have a uniform on, would be in casual clothes, and would not have a gun, and it would just be almost like going to visit someone that you're going to talk to. But the butterfly, guess what? You know what that's going to do? That's going to make that child, in time, get to be a butterfly too. And that child's spirit will rise. And it will rise from the bottom to all the way, little by little, little by little, little by little, and it will fly like that white butterfly. And those children coming in to your center, into the center, everyone, your prosecutor, coming into the center are going to, you're going to see them change, because they're going to realize that you really love them and you really care. And I mean, because it's not just words, you're showing something. And then the green, the lobby is going to be in green, so when they're coming in, you know, there you have the green. So I just want to say that in that visit also I did mention, is Beery going to be on the sign? It is? Oh my gosh. Oh wow. Oh, I had the sign. That I said to Linda and I said to Danielle, there's one thing I ask of you. You know, with the name, could you put Beery? And that's my maiden name. It's B-I-R-R-I. It's an Italian, a North Italian name. I am first generation American. But really why I wanted it is, besides being proud of my name, I wanted it because it reflects my father and my grandmother. And they were the two great influences in my life. My grandmother, for her steadiness, her strength, her faith, her smile, her care. My father, who taught me honesty, and I saw his openness, and he did not believe in impressions and being fake, and I loved that. So thank you so much for putting the Beery in there, and then I just want to say that, you know, you give me this honor, which I accept humbly, and the humbleness is at a depth that I've never had. Gratefulness that is beyond the gratefulness that I can express. And then I want to say, you give me the honor, my name is there, but you know what? Since we started the movement, like 28 years ago, on September 30th, at the vigil, thousands of people have contributed in supporting the cause that I started. And all my friends here are some of them. And there's Tim, and there's Jackie, and there's Nancy, and there's Ernie, and there's Marion, and my two sons there from the beginning to now. And where's John? Okay. And John. And John is the most, he's my youngest of 5 children. And he is the one that was named after Joan. And he's the one that looks most like Joan. Just the way it worked. But he's he's just very, always there to this moment. He's the one that was helping me this morning. he was the one that was getting nervous now because I was getting warm. And so he really is like something that I can't, put my words on it, but God knew what he was doing. He had a plan. He had a plan, I think, with all this, even though it's people that make things happen, bad things happen, but he had a plan to make it work. And of course, there's my son Michael, and Michael is the one that if something technical is broken, you get Michael, and how important that is, how important. If there's something that I really need someone to focus on completely, that's Michael. And then I feel very relieved. So, thank you, Michael, and thank you, John. Thank you. Thank you, Thank you, my friends. Thank you, my friends. You represent thousands of friends, but you are a core. And thank you to all those that a signature. Everyone from helping a minute to hours. That's what made this be. So this has my name on it. My name on it. But it's surrounded by all the supporters, all the angels, all the beautiful people, and people like you from the beginning. I mean, you did a fantastic job in '73, and here you are again. Okay? And the people of Hillsdale, the Hillsdale Police. So, then I just want to say that, in my thoughts, you see, the center and Jones Joy have something in common. And it's a weird way to say it, but sometimes I feel like we're two peas in a pod. And I will feel it more. And I hope you feel it too. But of course, you have the two peas, and in my head, you guys are the biggest peas. Okay? And we're the smaller peas. And a smaller pea. And besides that, the pot is green. You can't get away from green. Well, because, you see, what you're doing with the center, you're standing up and doing something. It's not just talk. You are doing something. How many places you hear of, they just talk. We should have this, we should have that. And if people follow your example, our society would be filled with the message of the white butterfly, hope, love, much more. So that's what is going to happen if people do what you are doing. Prosecutor's office does what you are doing. And I hope that other states see it, and I hope that, you see, I really believe that we can have a better society, even though there are so many things that you see that aren't good. But if we get people like us, all of us here, all of us, together, uniting, and then you get another group, do you know what happens? We get very powerful, and we get powerful by doing the good things, the right things. And that's what is going to make it work. Because there are always going to be people that want to be good and try to be good, and good is going to win. It's going to take time and patience and perseverance, but it can happen, will happen. But anyway, getting to the two peas in a pod, then you get Jones Joy. And my whole mission, my whole life, when I started this, was always about standing up for those in harm, standing up and doing something. because how much you see where a person sees somebody in harm and they turn their back, or they just look out the window and they see someone in pain, and then they put the Venetian blinds down. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to feel the pain, you have to feel the suffering, and sometimes you have to give so much. But standing up and doing something is so important to me, and that's what makes me do what I do. You see, because I had a message when Joan died, Holy Thursday, that was the day of the Last Supper, she found on Easter, and then you have a person like Joan, this white butterfly personality, and caring and kind and spunky. You put those together, that was the message. So I knew that I had to do something, and that was the message. So therefore, I'm here doing this with the message, stand up and do something. Everyone, if you see someone in your neighborhood and that person, maybe there's an ambulance there and they're taking someone into the ambulance, afterwards, call the person, just say, can I help you? I don't want to intrude. I just want to show you I care. Just little things like that, very important. So anyway, and guess what? I said 2 peas in a pod, but this one has 3 peas in a pod. The third one is Joan's spirit. When she was little, I was told this story about 15 years ago, that they were playing, and this boy and her brother, and they were playing, and they were bickering, and she said, oh, stop it. Let's go do something. Let's go play and have fun. So she's really, this is a different kind of pod. She's the third pea in the pod, because we all have the same purpose, of doing something. Yes.
So this is a plaque that is going into the Advocacy Center. This one's yours, and there's one already up there. And it's dedicated in honor of Rosemarie D'Alessandro, nee Berry, in recognition of her lifelong commitment to the safety of children and the pursuit of justice for victims of crimes. In memory of Joan D'Alessandro, 1965 to 1973, whose joyful spirit and love of life was taken too soon. May those who enter this room find hope, comfort, and resilience. You want to give it to Ernie? I'll give it to Michael? Sure.
Michael.
Get a picture.
No, Michael.
Let me take a picture. Get a picture
Here.
first.
Get Michael out.
We're behind you.
Yeah.
We're behind you, man. You can go with Jason.
Here.
We're behind you.
Maybe should you go next?
Okay.
Get a little.
Here, you know what? Could I stand? Wait, I'm gonna stand.
You want to stand?
Oh yeah.
You're gonna block us.
I'm gonna block you.
We're good.
All right.
You're good. You're good.
All right. Here.
Block your phone.
You just block us. That's what I was
All right.
recording.
So for anyone that hasn't visited our Advocacy Center, we invite you upstairs at this point, and you'll receive a tour. In closing, I want to thank the D'Alessandro family for being here. And as you said, the task is to just do right, and all the hot, temperature-wise, men and women who stand before you have that mission in mind. And whether they prosecute, advocate for the victims, or investigate, their job is to do no harm and pursue the justice of everyone. I especially want, in closing, thank Nydia Manangas for being here. Without her help years ago, we would never be before you today. I heard anecdotally that the entire state is now has an advocacy center in each county, and that's just a tribute to your hard work and the help that you've given to all of us. So that being said, thank you for coming, and we wish you well.
All right.
You made it.
Got everything going?